the talent myth. This is true along all sports. Especially in wrestling. That's what I love about wrestling is you can be very talented and successful. Even I call them freak athletes. We see those guys. But then there's a lot of athletes who maybe aren't freak athletes who go on and win at the highest level. And some of those guys, if you see them in camps and clinics, they brag about it. They go, I'm not a great athlete, but I just found a way to win that worked for me. Now, I don't think you can do that in track. If you want to be an Olympic sprinter, you kind of have to be gifted in that way. Certainly in powerlifting, if you're 6'6" and you weigh 152 pounds, you're probably not going to be a powerlifter. Powerlifters have very short arms and legs. It's just proven. And they have big bone structure, and it's just certain things you have to find that give yourself a fighting chance to be successful at. But especially the raw sports, like a raw sport like running, just all-out running. Not that they don't have to work hard, but I do think there's a threshold there that you have to be at as far as talent. Well, wrestling, you sort of don't, because I can change the way I wrestle. I can become the strongest wrestler in the nation in my weight class, and I can be the best defensive guy in America, and I can have the best position, and I can wrestle in tight and underhooks and collar ties and always keep my head lower than my opponents. I can make mat wrestling my game. I'm not an on-my-feet wrestler if I'm not a freak athlete. It's kind of like you look at boxing. I love boxing, the analogies between boxing. And you look at someone famous from back in the day, Muhammad Ali. He stayed out at a distance and used his speed. And then, like Mike Tyson would get in tight because he was a slugger. So who's the better style? They were both world champions a couple of times. So if they were to fight, if Ali let Tyson in tight, he would have lost. If Tyson let Ali stay out here, he would have lost. So whoever allows the other guy to be in his strength zone is going to win. And you see that in wrestling a lot. So wrestling's a very cool sport just because unlike a lot of sports where there is a level of talent that needs to be there, in wrestling, I don't think that is true. I think you can find a way to win, even if you're an average athlete. And I knew a guy who was an NCAA champion twice, and he always bragged about being an average athlete. And he just said, I developed a way to wrestle for an average athlete. He's really a defensive wrestler and a great mat wrestler and awesome counter wrestler because he's like, guys are probably going to get to my legs. Not every 3 seconds, but they're going to get on my legs on occasion, and I'm okay with that. And so now I don't even care if they get to my legs because he developed a good defensive system for that. And then once you become a monster defensively, people are afraid to shoot. And now when they're afraid to shoot, now I take control over the match a little bit because now they're second guessing themselves. So wrestling's a very cool sport in that way. So don't try to wrestle like a freak athlete if you're not. Just admit it and say, you know what, my way of wrestling is this way. I love watching that freak wrestler over there in college. Maybe my teammate. But, who knows? I might beat him in practice. No one even knows it. They like watching him wrestle. They might think watching me wrestling, is kind of like a good time to go get a bag of popcorn. I don't know. Sometimes they may not like watching me wrestle, but I beat that guy in a wrestling room every day. And, you see this a lot in the sport of wrestling. I don't think you see it in a lot of other sports. Another thing is this, if you put the lineman at wide receiver, he's not going to make JV. If you put the lineman on the line, he might be on TV making millions of dollars entertaining all of us. So you put the guy in a position that fits his level of athleticism and his strengths and avoids his weaknesses. Well, in wrestling, we don't have positions. We're all on the mat at the same time, shaking hands, wrestling. But I have positions I can stay in or avoid that help me to be strong and hide my weaknesses. So avoiding the positions that don't work for me and staying in and learning to get to and stay in, and my opponents try to counter out of my best positions, and I learn to counter their counter to stay in my best positions, that helps me to maximize my chances of being successful. So there's some good advice that might make sense to some of us, especially some of you who are not tremendous athletes. You just have to to deal with it and figure out a way to win, just like so many others have done and got on to win NCAA titles, NCAA All-Americans. I had buddies who were average athletes who were All-Americans and awesome wrestlers. They figured out a way to win. So hopefully that makes sense to some of you. Check us out on PurlerWrestling.com. Come train with us, and we have a lot to offer. And good luck.